I'm sure you guys want to know about, staff. As you probably know, the worst kept secret here um, at Notre Dame, and I guess now through the country, is that I made a change on the staff on the offensive side of the ball, which I felt was in the best interest of our program. Subsequently, we've organized a staff to reflect those changes. We've had a great practice today. Um, we've got a short window to prepare for a very good Iowa State team. Very impressed with them on film. And so as I told our football team, what's most important now is that, as they navigate through a kind of a truncated schedule relative to practices, that when they come over to this building, they have to leave all of that academics behind and really focus on football. And then, pick it back up when they leave. So had a really good day today. The energy was outstanding. Really, most of the work today was with the younger players and key backups. We'll begin to integrate our top guys in practice 3, which will be next Tuesday, and we'll scrimmage next Thursday. That'll be our first scrimmage. So as we kind of move forward, we've got very limited opportunity to kind of get into a schedule for preparation. So it's important that our guys are focused and locked in. So that's why it was important to get rolling with this reorganization of our staff, and we were able to do that. And again, had a great practice and ready to move to practice 2 tomorrow morning. So with that, open up to questions.
Brian, in the short term, what does the staff reorganization look like, and who will be calling plays in the bowl?
Yeah, so, again, collaboration, requires guys to pick up, additional roles. Lance Taylor will handle the run game coordination. Tommy Reese will handle the pass game. And, as it relates to play calling, we're still sorting that out.
Where is all this going long-term, timetable-wise, and inside candidates versus outside candidates?
Yeah, I think all of it's an evaluation process for me. I have not made any decisions on who will be, will there be a new offensive coordinator from the inside? Will I bring somebody from the outside? I have some thoughts as to what it should look like, but no decisions have been made. Certainly there's a lot of interest in the position, as you can imagine. This is a great job. So I think you can imagine the kind of interest that has come across my desk relative to wanting to be the offensive coordinator here. I've got a great staff as well, but no decision has been made. I know there's a lot of speculation that one of the coaches has already been named. That's unfounded. That's simply not true. We're going to do a thorough evaluation and search and find what I would consider the best coach that fits Notre Dame. Look, we had an offensive coordinator here who was extremely successful, and I did what I thought was best for the program. So I'm going to, again, do what's best for the program. And that doesn't mean default back to, hiring just to hire somebody. So we're going to do what's in the best interest of this football program.
Why was Chip Long leaving in the best interest of this program, and why now?
Yeah, I'll leave that alone right now. I think what's most important is that I did what was in the best interest of the program. To get into any of the specifics is really, not in anybody's best interest at this time.
And last one from me, just a practice question. You mentioned a lot of the young guys. Who jumped out at you in today's practice?
Let me see. We played a lot of guys that have gotten, substantial playing time. Eric, it's changed a lot, when you can play those 4 games, so you've seen them a lot more. I guess the guy that, continues to do some really good things, for me, Joe Wilkins. I just wish he was healthier during the season. He's got a nice skill set for us. He had a nice day today in terms of, just his overall ability to track the football, go to get the football. So he had a nice day. Litchfield continues to impress in one-on-one drills. Those are a couple of freshmen that jumped out. I'd have to watch a little bit more film, but kind of like what I said is that a lot of these guys have gotten in front of me already because of the 4-game rule, and it's a little bit different than like some other bowl game preparations where you hadn't seen them because they've been on scout team all year.
Right. Yeah. Offensively in the structure, do you want it to look any different than what it was this season?
I think it'll be subtle, but there will be some differences. I think every offensive coordinator has their own touches to the way that the offense would look. Again, the base structure is fundamentally going to look to most the same, but there'll be some nuances there that I think when you look at it closely, that you'll see the differences.
I mean, overall, it's fair to say you were pleased with like the production, the output of the offense this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think any time that you're, scoring points at the level that we were, you're pleased in that respect. There were some other things that certainly I wasn't, as pleased with. But overall, this is not an offense that lagged in the back half of many categories. It was in the top half or the top third of many. Is that the only way you judge an offense? Probably not. But by and large, this offense, we're not going to run the ball 655 times like they did in '89. So, having said that, the offense will have some slight nuances, but yeah, by and large, the product and what it resulted was pretty darn good.
You've intentionally empowered your players more over the last few years with leadership councils and SWAT teams, exit interviews, things of that nature. In figuring out what's best for the program, did you rely on that? Did you rely on feedback from your own roster?
No. I think any head coach has to have the pulse of his team. But if you're asking, did I have interviews with my team to make a decision? Absolutely not. But I think any head coach that does not have the pulse of his football team, not going to be the head coach very long.
And just coaching tight ends, who handles that role now?
It's collaborative. Pat Kramer, Chief. I'd give you Chief's full name, but we would be here all day with me trying to pronounce the Polynesian version. Go ahead. Okay, well, I turned it over to my chief attaché in linguistics, and he gave me a big 0 on it. So there you go. Both of those will. Chief had the tight ends in the spring at Minnesota. He's got a good background in the offensive line. He's going to work in tackles and tight ends. Pat will work in the passing game. I kind of set the meeting for them, and then they did a heck of a job today, so I was really pleased.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Brian, have you had any discussions with the players who are on the bubble about leaving early? Or,
I have. I've talked to everybody.
and what does what have you got from an indication from them both?
I've said this before. I leave that up to them to decide how and when they want that to be public knowledge. It's not my job to come out and say this guy's doing this and that guy's doing that. We have our roster set based upon, who's coming back and who's not coming back. But I know exactly how our roster is set for next year, and they'll make announcements relative to, whether they're staying or going here probably during the bowl game, after the bowl game, but it'll be fairly imminent.
All right, so there's no one that you know of who's not going to sit out the bowl game and stuff like that. Everybody who's here is on the roster for Orlando.
Yeah, everybody is going to play unless something changes. As of today, all of our starters that started in the game against Stanford practiced and participated today. So it would have to be somebody coming up to me after this conversation that I'm having with you and said, I've changed my mind, I'm not going to play in the game.
Brian, moving forward at this stage of your career, would you prefer not to be the play-by-play caller?
I'm not calling plays.
You will not call the plays?
I will not call plays.
And what about in the bowl game? Not even.
I will not call plays. No, that's not my role. I've moved past that role. I will certainly be much more involved in the organization of the offense and clearly making sure that our room is where I want it to be, and I think it is. But I will assist. I will be there to lean on and consult with. But this will be a collaborative approach with the lead coming from Lance and coming from Tom.
There has to be a primary guy, though, right? I mean, they can't be switching back and forth making play calling decisions. Which of the two will be the primary play caller?
Somebody will be eventually the primary play caller. I just haven't made that decision yet.
Okay, for the Camping World Bowl. Off topic, but I've been meaning to ask you this about John Shannon. He has another year of eligibility. Is he physically capable of moving forward and continuing to play here? Is he a fifth-year candidate?
Yeah, he's decided that he would like to move on, and he has already got placement in law enforcement in Evanston, in Illinois, and pretty excited about that. So he will be he'll be moving on with a full-time position in law enforcement.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes.
Knowing that you have your roster set, are you looking any further into transfer portals with some options there to help them?
Lou, I don't think that you can ever not look. I think you have to always examine it. I want to be careful how I say this, but we're reaching the luxury tax threshold. We're at the salary cap. So, we don't have the luxury to, bring in 3 or 4 guys. So we would have to be, really blown over the top in a sense to dip into that pool.
And as far as the structure of your staff, in the past you've made moves such as Chuck Martin going from defensive back coach to quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator. Do you see any kind of dramatic shifts there in the staff, or fairly status quo there?
No, I mean, there's nobody on the defensive staff that would move over to the offensive staff. I'm really, really looking at, simply getting through this bowl cycle and then doing what's in the best interest of the program. And so I'm going to be thorough. I'm going to be measured, and deliberate about what's in the best interest of this football program. We're going to have a really good football team coming back, a really good one. Schedule is challenging, but one that will position ourselves with games with Wisconsin and Clemson and USC, to name a few. There's other really good teams on that schedule. So we want the best staff moving forward to put our players in the best position to succeed and win a national championship.
For position coach, are you looking to hire a specific area?
No, it's open. I could hire an offensive line coach. I could hire a tight end coach. I could hire a quarterback coach. I'm going to hire the best coach that I believe fits what we have currently. Now, that's not to say that I want to move any of the coaches that I have on the staff. I think I've got good football coaches. But I don't know how to say this any clearer. I'm going to do what's in the best interest of this football program, not me. I'm not going to do what's in my best interest. I've already made a tough decision. I've had to make other tough decisions. I made them a few years ago. I had to let go of guys that stood up in my wedding. So I'm not afraid to make tough choices. I'm going to make the decisions that are in the best interest of Notre Dame's football program and gives us the best chance to win a national championship. I can't articulate it any clearer.
With that said.
Thank you.